What up YouTube, Marcus Rokman here, Rokman YGO. I got the glasses gig on right now. I've been up for like too long, over a day already. I just wanted to get a deck profile down. It's a deck I've been playing on Duel Network and like just in general. I have to throw some props out to the people who made it. I didn't make this deck, but I've changed it a bit. It's been really good for me. I just wanted to show it to you guys. The glasses on my eyes are fucked. You don't even see my eyes, they're so red. But no, I'll go through the deck now. Really good deck. Alright, so we'll start it up. It's Water Synchro by the way. 3 Gen X Undyne. I'm in Japan at the moment, just in case you haven't watched any of my other videos. And yeah, I am playing OCG stuff, so you'll see some Japanese cards, and yeah, it's awesome. OCG is really fun. So 3 Gen X Undyne, it's like the heart and soul of the deck. Very good card. Even though you need to play 2 vanillas in your deck to support this, it's insane. Yeah, pretty much like dumps your fishbowl, dumps your treeborn, very simple. 3 swap frogs. This is like your additional way to dump treeborn. You need probably it's just like treeborn's pretty much your engine. Like your enemy controls become brain controls because of treeborn. You need cards like swap frog to initiate like the start of the deck going, like starting to go off with librarians and stuff. And frog, this can be like the extra 2 stars on your Trish, or like there's plenty of things you can SS it and like dump your fishbowl if you've got no other discard outlet. Very good, very important. It's critical in the deck. I'll probably go into some of the players a bit after, but explain why it's good. 3 Oyster Meister. This was never really in Water Synchro up until now. It's more like a fish synchro sort of thing. This will probably change due to the ban list. See with the ban list, but like this is really good right now. It's your level 3. It's sort of like in the Turbulence Cloudy in Water Synchro deck. The Turbulence that gets your smoke ball. This is pretty much the level 3. You make it to an armory arm, or you have a formula out and you sync it for a librarian, and you get your oyster token, and you make another formula out of it. It's really good with your fishbowl. It's unbelievable. 3 Effect Veiler. Oh, sorry about the random rarities as well, guys. We kind of threw this deck quickly together today so I could play in this tournament. So 3 Effect Veiler. Really important. Protects you. You don't have a lot of defense in this deck, as you know. Water Synchro doesn't play any traps, so you need stuff like this to stop yourself getting trished. And Trish is an awful card for you to face, and yeah, it improves your matchups and stuff. It's also a tuner. You sometimes need to make formulas with your Veilers and stuff too. 2 Gen X Controller to work with your Undynes. You need these to search up your Undynes. Also comes fodder for your Fishborg and Allures. Fishborg Blaster, the hero of the deck, the tuner, makes the formulas, makes everything come together with the Treeborn Frog and with the Oyster tokens. This is like the heart and soul Fishborg Blaster. I can't wait to get these into. If you haven't found out yet, these are coming out in Turbo 6 and Supers. They look so good and pimping out of control. Treeborn Frog, what more to say about this? The recurring level 1 that like makes your enemy controllers brain controls, and like, you know, initiates your formula, makes your formula synchronous with your fishbowl. Simple stuff, guys. Gauze, so good. Your only really defensive card besides Veiler from your hand that you can activate on their turn, other than like with Econ and stuff. Like if you randomly set an Econ for some reason. But Gauze, it's not much to say. Everyone knows about Gauze. It's just the stones. So good in this deck. It's really random. I have a few cards that I kind of like copied this list, played it, and nothing was really performing too badly. I changed 2 cards. I kept this in though, Sangan. can get your Undyne when you've got like a dead hand. This is like, you can draw a lot of dead hands with this deck. It's an allure target. You search for there's a lot of decent things you need to search. You can search for your Fishborg if you didn't draw your Undyne. I mean, and you drew your controllers out, and like you search for your Undynes when you have to, and you can sync with it with a formula to make a librarian as well. He's been really good so far. Glob Bulb. These really interesting cards like Sangam, Glob Bulb, and Plague's also in the deck. Glob Bulb, these like randomly win you games. Like he's really random in the deck. Like he's busted as fuck, and he like makes formulas with. He makes stuff like with formulas. He makes the formulas with the Treeborn, and when you do the play with your Oyster Meister and your Fishborg Blaster to make an Armory Arm and get a token. This guy, obviously Armory Arm's not a water, so you can't sync with Fishborg, so you end up either 1-for-1ing or getting this guy in the grave somehow, like maybe ditching it previously to a Fishborg effect and reviving it to make your Librarian, and then you use the Fishborg that may have been engraved to make the Oyster token into a formula and draw 2 cards and start your stuff going on. But Glob Bulb's been fantastic, and no complaints about this card. This is like definitely like not even a question to be in the deck in comparison to Sangan. And Plague is really, really weird. Like the card's obviously it's a fantastic card. Don't get me wrong, it's amazing, but it functions really odd in this deck. It sometimes like is the stones and makes your Gen X Undynes, your Oyster Meisters into Librarians, which is obvious. Key of this deck is to make Librarians and go into like Quasi Dragon and stuff. But this guy's like really random. Like sometimes he's really, really good. Like he's won me a few games just for making Black Rose for people that overcommit, like on Duel Network and people in real life that just don't do the right stuff. But yeah, Plague's just that random level 2 tuner. He has a weird function in the deck. I guess he's also put the Gen, like for some random reason, if you've got him engraved, you draw a second controller, put your controller back on top. Say you have an Undyne in hand, or Undine, this guy calls him like Houdini, what do you call it?
The Japanese pronunciation is Undine.
Undine, sorry, my bad. Gen X Undyne, I call it, but whatever.
If you swing
tomato.
the DT one there, I'll pronounce it correctly.
Yeah, the DT one's like awesome. So Plague, you make it with your, like sometimes it randomly does stuff, like if you've got your Undyne in hand, so if you can top deck your Gen X controller, so you can make so you can summon your Undyne and hopefully make a Librarian and use your Undyne's effect. 3 enemy controllers. This is a key in all the Treeborn Frog decks playing no traps, like Frog Monarch, Water Synchro, Turbulence Synchro, stuff like that, Cloudians, whatever you want to call it. Absolutely fantastic, brilliant card. Just brain control every single time. This card wins me so many games. It's like also your random defensive card. Like if you, for some reason, like it's rare that you're usually, like sometimes you're going to be winning games without your Frog engine and you're just going off with like Oysters and stuff. So you don't need to really worry about setting back rows. But hopefully you're not having to run into Typhoons. But sometimes you set them and they're your defensive card, like randomly, like sort of like a Book of Moon effect. Really good. Obviously, brain controls just everywhere. The list I sort of copied this off, which was on actually Duelist Grounds. It's called the new Water Synchro or Water Synchro Change or something. The thread's called. Was playing a Mobius and a Chaos Sorcerer for 41 cards with only 2 Avarice. I opted to cut after a couple of games of testing the Chaos Orc. The Mobius was actually really randomly good. But like I found that it's not key to the win condition of the deck. It's not part of like how this deck is winning. Like it's not the main component. So it's not the main component. So I decided to put in the 3rd Avarice because I feel like this is a combo deck. This is trying to get through your stuff. It's just really, really, really good. So obviously I'm playing OCG. Generation Force is coming out next week. So I'm in Japan. I get to play with some of the stuff a bit early. They've been playing with this for ages. This is called Surface. If you don't know, you can wiki it. Surface is it's a normal spell card. When you activate it, you special summon one level 3 or lower Aqua, Sea Serpent, or Fish from your graveyard in face-up defense mode. Level 3 or lower. No other restrictions. When I saw this card, I just wanted to play it. It looks so good to me. I think this card just looks like such a fun card to play with when I saw it. And it's been so good to play with, like mini Monster Reborn sort of thing. Get back Oyster Meister. It's in the middle of your combos when you're making librarians and stuff. This is all you want to draw this card, and like obviously it's not great early game. Sometimes you get back a Frog with it just to make another formula. Like if you play with this card, you'll see sometimes it'll be the absolute stone cold nuts. Sometimes it'll be, you know, okay, average, maybe not great, but yeah, it's awesome. It's definitely speeding up the deck a lot. I want to try more Ray of Greed as well, but you know I won't really go into that right now. But that's like maybe for a different deck. Mythical Space Typhoon. Obviously, we're playing a Treeborn. For we need spell and trap removal. This is a quick play spell card. Obviously, didn't play for ages. I don't want to go into like semantics about it. The only thing I guess I will talk about with MST in this deck is something with this particular card in this deck is that you don't often want to be setting this card when you're going second and stuff. You usually want to hold this actually because you're actually happier blind typhooning or saving your typhoons for stuff like Royal Oppression, because you don't want to ever trade in this deck particularly your typhoons for typhoons, because another big part about this, why this deck is good, is because it shuts down the reason why Giant Trunade, Royal Decree decks and stuff, and Mystical Space Typhoon, they have no effect against this deck because, you know, you're setting no back rows. So typhooning randomly and trying to hit like Solemn Warnings and whatever else that may like affect your plays, like Bottomless Trap Hole, Book of Moons and stuff, blinding is actually not too bad. You don't want to set them and then get it typhooned. Like trading a typhoon for typhoon in this deck is just way neg EV. It's just not great. Monster Reborn, it's just obvious. Foolish Burial dumps Fishbowl, dumps Treeborn, dumps Plague, dumps Glob Bulb when you need it. Very, very obvious. 1 for 1. Gets your Fishbowl, gets your same stuff, gets your Fishbowl, gets your Treeborn, dumps stuff, gets your Glob Bulb, gets Veiler randomly if you need it. It's just obvious. Dark Hole, staple, ridiculous. It's just find it even more ridiculous in this deck for some reason. Just always is like ridic. Giant Trunade, field clearer, makes you go off with your combos and stuff. Very, very good card. Mind Control, you're playing a Synchro deck. You get a Formula Synchrons. You just want to synchro with their stuff, make Bryonic. You do it with Bulb, you do it with Plague, you do it with everything. Mind Control. Very, 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 very good card. And Allure of Darkness, because you want more draw power with this deck. You've got so many random darks that you're happy to remove. Sangan, sometimes Plague, like when it's not great. Your Gen X controllers, it's doing great. What time are we at?
13 through part 2.
Alright. We might cut this into 2. Yeah, cut the video now. We'll go into part 2, guys. So that was part 1. That's the deck, and I'll go into another one. Alright.
Peace.
Peace.